Bulls fans, what is up? It's time for the Around the Horns podcast. Your main men, Mario and Tristan.
Or mans.
Back. No more weather delays. I'm back from Mexico. Mario's back from jail, and we are ready to bring you the hottest podcast in all the world. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it right now, Mario. Right now, it's like 98 degrees out here. It is as hot as it gets when it comes to podcasts. We got some cool things to talk about, though, today.
Absolutely. You're not going to want to miss this, Bulls fans. We've got so much coming up for you. We're still talking about our golf tournament coming up. You're not going to want to miss that. We've got one of our billet parents here is going to be coordinating and taking care of all the players coming in for this next season. So you're going to want to meet her and find out what she's got going on. And we've got a special partner, a new partner, that's going to come and share a little bit about what he does and what he's doing with the Bulls this season.
Awesome things coming for the 2021 Bulls season. You're not going to want to miss it as we bring you some updates here on the podcast. Mario and I have some updates, though. In 2 weeks, when we come back here, and we hope to see more of you, already the sea of Bulls fans behind us and joining us week after week continues to grow. We appreciate the love, but we want to see you. We've got more giveaways. We've got awesome things to talk about. One of those things, Mario, new Bulls gear coming to the show in 2 weeks. Around the Horns podcast gear, my friend.
Absolutely. Listen, if you want to be cool and be part of what Tristan and I do, you're going to want to walk around town all over Pueblo in the beautiful weather and show off that Around the Horns podcast swag. So you got to come here to get it. So just show up next week. Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We'll be rocking those shirts on the podcast. You can get a first glimpse of them right here at Angelo's on the beautiful Pueblo Riverwalk. We'll be recording in 2 weeks, Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Again, you're going to want to be here. Another great new item coming available for Bulls fans, Mario. The loudest, baddest weapon in the entire stands. And that's a cowbell. What better way to cheer on the Bulls than the official cowbell of the Pueblo Bulls. Now available, $25. You can get yours before. Maybe you buy your season tickets, and then as a thank you to yourself, you buy a new official cowbell. $25, you can pick yours up right here in Pueblo at Awards by Trophy City, official sponsor of the Bulls. Pick up your swag while you're in there, and maybe see if they've got some Around the Horns podcast gear available.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, guys, you need this bell because we're going to be welcoming in some of the nastiest, dirtiest hockey teams in the league, and we want to let them know that they're in Pueblo, and it's Pueblo versus everybody. So the only way you can let them know is by making a lot of noise, and here's the first way to do that. So make sure you stop by Awards by Trophy City and get your cowbell.
Everything is building up to be the perfect storm in 2021 for the Bulls. I mean, we've been talking with coaches week after week after week about recruiting. They've already got some awesome looks from some of these showcases that they've been watching these players, Mario. People want to be here and be a part of what's coming this next season as the Bulls enter season number 3 here in Pueblo. They're going to make some noise. We got a stadium ready to be packed with close to 900 fans every single week. We got official cowbells. We got official swag. And we got the official podcast delivering it all to you week after week after week.
So good. So good. Guys, we can't do any of this without you and your support, so we appreciate it. We appreciate our fans who are coming out here every 2 weeks, and we can't wait to see you out here as well.
Listen, good things coming on the horizon. We've got an interview with the Community Relations Director talking all things billet parents, Lisa Simonik, in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you Around the Horns podcast. Bulls fans, welcome back to the Around the Horns podcast, the official podcast of the Pueblo Bulls. Mario and Tristan back, and we told you we were going to have a great guest coming up. No better than the best in the business. Our Community Relations Director, billet manager, boss of all things, right? Lisa Simonik joining us. Lisa, so great to see you again. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Very much appreciated.
Off-season time means you can rest a little bit on what was a great 2020 season for the Pueblo Bulls, but for you, it was really busy. So while other things were shutting down, the Bulls never stopped. It was one of the only teams in all of junior hockey to have played a full season, which meant as the billet coordinator, you were homing these players through the entire season. What was that like in 2020?
I felt really good to make sure that we had a bed for each of these boys. It was very nice to make sure they had a bed and they had food and they were taken care of. I was very grateful.
Especially a late season push like the Bulls did right after the trade deadline, and as some of the leagues across the country shut down, we saw an influx of players. Bulls added 5 or 6 really key players that helped them make the playoff push. You give me the look at 5 or 6. It was probably more like 10. But what was that like at the end of the season? Is it kind of a mad dash to find homes? Are you piling them up? Are you offering bunk beds to these players? What does that look like?
Oh, I just pay people extra. No, I'm kidding. No, we have some wonderful billet families, and they definitely offer themselves to take in more kids, and it works out great. It's a great family, whole billet family. We've become very close, and we welcome anybody that wants to be joining us, just because it's fun. It's fun to have these kids live in your home, even if it is a little crazy with the schedule.
Well, you talked a little bit about that. So if someone's watching right now, they want to know, how do I get involved? What does it take for families to billet a bull?
To billet a bull, you actually need to make sure that you have a bedroom for the Bulls player that's separate from the family. They don't share with your family. They need a bathroom basically to themselves because their schedule is completely irregular, and to put a schedule on who gets to use the bathroom when is not really feasible. And you need to have Wi-Fi. And other than that, you need to make sure that whatever you do for your family for meals, like dinner meals, that you also include them. And they're pretty much required to have breakfast on their own, do lunch on their own, and then whatever you do for your family, you do for the kids as well.
All right.
And I hear a rumor on the street is that there's a strict no keto diet for the Bulls players. So if you're a keto out there, want to be a billet, too sorry. Is that true?
Not really. No, not really. But, the guys kind of tend to sometimes sneak in some food into their rooms, unbeknownst to the billet families. So, they have their stash.
I thought if I could kill the keto diet, it may happen on the Around the Horns podcast. It didn't happen, but we'll keep chipping away at it. Lisa, more than just billeting, though, you do so much in the community and making sure that these players, when they are not sleeping and eating, which is 2/3 of what they're doing when they're around the team, they're getting out and getting involved. And so much of that starts with events that you get partnered up with the Bulls, get them in line with an organization. How do some of those partnerships come to be, and what were some of your favorite that you were able to make happen in 2020?
I look forward to building more relationships with different partners in the community. We have done things in the past that have worked. For instance, going into the schools and reading. We have done cleanup at the river, conservation cleanup. We've done Operation Care and Share with Peanut Butter and Jelly Drive in February. And I'm always looking for more types of community events for the Bulls players to get involved with. We are hoping to have over 500 hours of community service. So that would basically mean 1 hour of community service per player per week. So I'm working to try and make sure we have different varieties of things for the boys to do. One of the things that doesn't really involve too much of the boys, but it involves community action, is every Friday of home games, we're going to have a specific request for Bulls fans to bring in an item of food for Operation Care and Share, and those items will vary depending on what the theme is for that weekend. So that's the easy thing to do, is just go and pick up something. And then the harder things are if our Bulls players get asked to do something, like we've been asked to help move something, physically move things, like Center for American Values needed some things, and we've been able to help them. Lots of different options, but I'm always looking for more.
And what a great way to get involved.
Yes.
And also, not only are our Bulls players out there getting involved, but there's chances for you, our fans, to be involved as well. What a great opportunity for, season ticket holders, if you just come on a random Friday, to be out there, be in support of the team and be in support of all the activities you've got planned out for the guys as well. So
That is right.
very awesome.
Very, very good.
So that Care and Share partnership, something that Bulls fans should be looking forward to. That's every single Friday. Those special pushes, whatever it is, they're going to be going out on social media. Any other ways can they mark a calendar for one specific thing, load up on rice when it's hot, or just kind of monitor the situation as it moves?
As things become closer when we have the schedule, I will put together and work with Care and Share to make sure we have targeted ideas for each Friday home game. And that way, when, if you see something that goes on sale, you can snag it. I will save this for November. I will save this for February or whichever. And it's easy to be able to do those if you have the list. And that's something that I am definitely working on.
And if it's not just on social media, I bet you can come back here to the Around the Horns podcast and get those updates of what's coming to make sure you guys are in the know when it happens.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is called planting a seed. Hopefully in 2 weeks, by the time we're back for the podcast, we're going to have an official 2021 Bulls schedule. So we can plan your Care and Share events. We can plan our celebration nights. You can get all of your days cleared and buy your season tickets, because then you'll know which days you're coming. That's just called planting the seed, though. I'm not going to water that one this week. We're just going to say thanks to Lisa Simonek for joining us again. So many things going on in the billet world. Still looking for billet parents, and the easiest way to get started is that to reach out, visit the website. What's easiest?
The easiest way is to go to the website and look for Billet a Bull. And if you scroll on that page, there's a form, and it will give you information. It gets a link sent, and then it comes to me, and I will follow up with you.
Awesome.
And if you want to become a billet, if you want to get involved in the community, Lisa is your one-stop shop. Thank you so much for taking some time, joining us on the podcast, and keeping the Bulls fans informed.
Thank you very much for having me. Always a pleasure.
And thank you, Bulls fans, for another great period. We got one more coming up, an exciting new partner of the Pueblo Bulls here, Fast Life Ministries, and our main man, Nick, going to be joining us in just a few minutes. You don't want to miss this one. Stick around, Bulls fans, to the Around the Horns podcast. Bulls fans, welcome back. Period 3 time here on the Around the Horns podcast, and Mario and I enjoying another wonderful evening here on the Pueblo Riverwalk. Angelo's a gracious host every single week. Great group of Bulls fans behind us, and another great guest now. We talked about it in the last 2 periods. You didn't want to miss it. Nick Ordorf from Fast Life Ministries, new partner, new sponsor of the Pueblo Bulls. Nick, thanks so much for taking some time out, joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, so happy to be here. Appreciate you guys having me. And period 3, man, it's go time, right? We gotta get to the end of this period with the W. So just here to share what Fast Life is about and why we partnered with the Bulls. Super excited with what everybody's been able to do over the last few years with the Bulls. Being a Pueblo native, growing up playing hockey here, seeing different teams come and go, and just excited about what the Pueblo Bulls have been able to accomplish. I think the program's great, and honestly, the urgent has outweighed the important over the last few years. I keep saying I need to get involved. I need to go see what's going on, and you just get busy with the daily grind, and things come and things go, and then something popped up on Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get involved right now. Like, no more excuses, and I looked into it, got a hold of the guys, and we were able to create a good relationship. Fast Life Ministries is really about breaking down the stereotypes of what the world views a Christian as. Obviously I'm different. I'm tattooed from my wrist to my neck, and I've lived a hard life. I've been through ups and downs. I've struggled with addiction and alcoholism, as a firefighter, and lost the job. So I've struggled with a lot of life things, and it was because I didn't have a background in Christ, and I didn't know where to turn to. So as partnering with the Bulls is getting the name of Fast Life out there to let people know that, hey, Jesus is cool and we can be different and enjoy that together. And walk in faith and walk tall and build men and strong women that are in faith and for this community and for the world. But by partnering with the Bulls and getting that out there, we can spread that message, and also coming on to become a chaplain for the Bulls program and be available for the players and the staff alike. Like I said, I know the world really well. I lived in it a long time, and I'm recently been saved, and just being able to share and pour into those kids, whether they just need somebody to talk to that's not a coach, or if they need prayer or whatever it might be. That's what Fast Life is about, and that's what we want to be with the Bulls for. And I think it's a great opportunity to reach this community.
Well, you talked a little bit about your background in hockey as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was what's the best way to put it? I was always the best player on the second team.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
never good enough to make the first team, right? So always enjoyed it, played with a lot of great guys from this community, guys that were far better than me, but just loved the game. Really, really enjoyed it. Played up through high school and still play men's league today with a lot of great people in the town, and just have a lot of fun with it. It was a thing that through some of my years of addiction and things like that, I tore away from it for a long period of time, and coming back to it was so rewarding, and just the camaraderie and being in the locker room and the banter and all those things that come with it is something that I understand and appreciate, and also know that it can be hard on certain kids, right? So being able to share and be able to help kids like that too, but always decent, not great. Didn't have too far to go with it.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But the love of the game is there, I can tell.
Absolutely, yeah, fun stuff.
And easier, too, when you can double up as well. Nick, you mentioned you made the perfect comment that we've heard from just about every coach on the show before, is just building good men. So we realize now with the Bulls, it's a unique situation in Pueblo. They don't come here and spend their careers here. They spend a year or two, 18 months sometimes, and then they're off into the world. But what their goal is on this team is to make them a better man than when they left. And this new involvement with faith in the locker room, the opportunity to speak to somebody that has a different perspective, is that really the mission behind this, to get in and maybe not influence what happens on the ice, because that may be already set in stone. They've already got this game plan all lined out, just to affect how they perceive it.
Yeah, so I think that that's important. Obviously, to me, faith is very important, and I understand that to certain people that might not be so. Whether I change their heart on that matter or not, that's up to God, not to me, ultimately. And I'm also never going to be the guy that comes in and forces something to somebody who doesn't want to hear it. But I'm there for them, whether they want to talk about different things. At the end of the day, we're all sinners. We all fall short. I've been through some of the darkest times of any, and I have experiences to share that I think can help mold young men into being stronger men. So hopefully, as they're here and this team continues to work on the culture, which I really think is the important thing that I've heard the GM and different things say, is that the culture of this team, it's about building a culture here that they can carry on with them to be better wherever they go. And so whatever me and Fast Life Ministries can do to help that is what it's all about, bringing it back together.
And so the rest of the work that's being done as well, not just now what's going on with the Bulls, but what else does Fast Life strive to do in the community, day to day? What does your team look like, and really what's kind of your mission to get out and do?
Yeah, so the team right now, we're fairly new. We've been around about a year and a half. It's something that God put on my heart to create because of my past. Fast Life comes from the fact that I grew up going fast. Whether it was hockey, as a defenseman that wasn't very skilled, but I like to hit people. So when they dropped their head, I hit them hard. And I loved it. BMX bikes, freestyle, motocross, wakeboarding, wake surfing, all those things is what I grew up doing. I grew up going fast. And at some point in time, I shifted from going fast in a positive way to chasing drugs and alcohol in a different way. I was even a firefighter for a period of time, and that career was great for me, and it was all foiled by the world, right, and alcoholism and those things. So Fast Life is about getting back into the world, breaking down that stereotype of what it looks like, and letting others that might be where I was know that, hey, there's someplace better for you to go. There's a way that you can get out of this. So Fast Life is, we're working on being on scene and different things. We're very enveloped in the action sports world, professional mountain bikers, BMXers, skateboarders, wakeboarders. We do a lot with that kind of stuff. COVID kind of shut us down last year as we thought we were going to go on scene with it. But God opened a different door, and we actually do our own podcast now called Faith and the Fast Life. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And professional athletes on there. Looking to have a couple of professional hockey players coming up here soon. We've had professional BMXers, and just reaching the world through sports, action sports, and just testimony of individuals who have overcome all odds and found Christ and gotten back to where they should be.
Well, you mentioned the podcast, but if our viewers and listeners wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all Fast Life Ministries. We also have a website, fastlifeministries.com, and then the podcast. You can DM me, message me, any of those things. We're always happy to help, whatever we can do.
Awesome.
Get connected, Bulls fans. Nick, I want to thank you, first of all, for sharing your story with us, coming on and talking about that. It's an awesome thing to be able to do. I think the component you're going to bring into the Bulls fans, their locker room this year, have a little bit of a different look on things is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how things unfold, and I just am glad you took some time to chat with us today.
Yeah, so glad you guys would have me. I really appreciate it.
Bulls fans, Nick Ordor, Fast Life Ministries, you're going to want to stick around all season to see what Nick and the team are able to bring to your favorite team, the Pueblo Bulls, in 2021. Mario and I got to give some free swag away. We got some people to appease behind us, Bulls fans that have stuck around for the entire show. 2 weeks, you've got the opportunity to come back here. We're going to be here. Angelo's on the Pueblo Riverwalk. 2 Wednesdays, 6 o'clock p.m. Don't want to miss it. We're going to have another great guest. We're going to have another interview with coaches. I can't say they're going to be as great as Nick, but they're going to be pretty good guests. So, Bulls fans, for sticking around, we appreciate it. See you in 2 weeks.